A German poet, Berthold Albach, said, and I quote, "To acquire money requires valor. To keep money requires prudence." Simply put, different mindsets and skills are required for not only acquiring wealth, but also preserving it. On this episode of Frontiers, we shall take a look at financial prudence and how to apply it in various aspects of daily life. I am Frama Pani, and I warmly welcome you to the program. Our guest is Winston Ekwotu, a management consultant and agribusiness executive. It's a pleasure having you join us on the program.
Thank you very much, Frima.
We will take an excerpt to set the tone for today's discuss.
Money plays a vital role in man's sustenance, thus helping in meeting basic necessities of life: food, shelter, and clothing. Financial prudence is crucial for achieving financial security and stability. Financial experts say it involves making informed decisions, avoiding unnecessary risks, and planning for life's uncertainties. Effective financial planning involves setting aside. Effective financial planning involves setting clear financial goals, assessing one's financial situation, creating a tailored plan for saving, investing wisely, and managing debt. Planning for life events such as buying a house, retirement, or unexpected expenses is also essential. By taking proactive and informed approaches to finance, an individual can achieve set financial goals and secure a brighter financial future.
Once more, we're glad to have you on the program.
Thank you very much, Frima.
Let's get into the deal of the day. We're discussing a very interesting issue today, money. I know, of course, money is certainly crucial in our day-to-day living, especially in the times we're in right now. Now, let's take a look at financial success, long-term financial success. What are the most important financial planning considerations for young people that are starting their careers?
Money is something that is at the front burner. We always tell people financial balance, so to speak, is a driver of so many things, even your emotions. So for that reason, it is important that people are financially stable. And when we talk about people who are beginning their careers, you need to ask yourself or set for yourself a goal. Where am I headed in life? What are the things that are important to me? For someone who is just starting out, you would be tempted to want to compare yourself with people who have been down the road. They've gone further than you have gone.
Okay.
So one of the first things we tell people is to be very conscious about the difference between needs and wants. That's the first place, because sometimes we end up spending and even borrowing to satisfy the wants, and we neglect the needs. So that is closely related to what we also call funding of lifestyle.
Okay.
So you have people who spend so much on lifestyle, and in most cases these are just wants. They're not the main things, they're not the necessities. And most importantly, the third thing is learning how to save.
Now, talk to us about the essential components of a budget and how can one create a realistic budget, because you just spoke about spending, needs and wants. Of course, you should have a budget for your needs and your wants. Talk to us about that.
Okay, so we help people plan financially. Part of the things that services we offer is training and helping people transition, especially as you go through your career.
Okay.
And one of the things we tell people is we have a principle of finance which we call the orange principle.
Okay.
That you could treat your money like an orange. The orange has 4 components. It has the juice, the seed, the fiber, and the peel. So if you have that mindset, and what's a budget? It's not something that should be very complicated. A budget is what am I earning and what am I spending on.
Okay.
That's simple. Now, if you have your money like an orange, which has 4 parts, each part should serve a purpose. We tell people the peel should be for God and humanity, whatever it is you believe in. For the Christians, it's tithing. For the Muslims, it's giving alms, whatever it is. And for some people, it's personal social responsibility. Okay. And then you have the fiber, which is for your family and your friends, because you don't exist in isolation. You would always have people who need some form of help from you. And then you have the juice, which should be for yourself, spending on yourself, on your needs to keep you stable. And then you have the seed, which is what you save and you invest. It's the seed of the orange that is planted to produce another tree that gives you another orange.
Very interesting concept there, yes. I would say. Now let's talk about savings. As an expert in this field, what % of one's salary or monthly income or wages should be saved, and how regular should that be?
So we get this question a lot whenever we have sessions with people. And the truth is, my response is that I cannot give you a percentage of what you should save, because your responsibilities are different from mine. Again, with the orange, you have some oranges that have little juice, and you have the ones that have a lot of juice. A good example, if you're the first of 6 children and you're the only person working and you have several dependents who are in school, your juice would not be so much because you have to take care of people. So what you would save would be different from what someone who is the last of 7 children with very little responsibilities. However, what we tell people and what I would usually advocate is no matter how much you earn, make sure you have something saved up. If you can't save from 100,000 naira a month, you will be unable to save from 1,000,000 naira a month. The percentage, however, is completely dependent on the circumstances surrounding your existence as a person and where you found yourself. Okay,
now still on saving culture, saving mentality. Yeah. At what age or at what point do you begin to, start saving?
Start early. You and I, we're already working. It's assumed that we should be saving something now. If you have children, it's good you start teaching them that culture. And one other thing we would usually ask people who say, "Now waiting when person done beleful, and person go fit save." If 10% is taken off your salary, would you resign? If you're earning 80,000 naira a month, and for some reason your employer says, "I can only pay 75 now," you would not resign. So what that means is that you can actually save 5,000. So if you have that mindset, you would realize that irrespective of what you earn, irrespective of whether you are fully satisfied or not, you can actually develop the discipline to set aside something every month or periodically. It may be every day, knowing that it is a rainy day fund that may be useful to you either as an emergency or for you to start off something that could produce more. Like I said, it's a seed that when planted, most people, anyone who chews off the seeds of his or her harvest would have nothing to plant in the next planting season.
Talking about the orange principle, the seed you just mentioned, now that is like to signify investment, you said. What are the best investment options for someone who is just starting a job?
For someone who is just starting a job, investment options, depending on the demands of your job, as well as the code of ethics around the job, it would determine where you would put whatever investments you have. And it may not be advisable to have a business that will be as demanding as your work. In some cases, you could look out for the investment houses that have some savings. So they are low-risk investments, and obviously they come with lower rewards. And if your risk appetite is very high and you have a big bite for risk, then you check out for some of the very high-risk investments that are out there, except things that you don't understand. We have a lot of Ponzi schemes out there and a lot of things that are crashing every day. If you have no understanding of these things, what's it called now, the cryptocurrencies and this rest of them, if you understand them and you have the risk appetite for it and you've been able to look through everything, you can go into that. But if you don't understand it and your philosophy is safety first, then it's best you have a conversation with maybe your bank. They may have some mutual funds out there for you. They may have fixed deposits for you. These are low risk and they are also low rewards, but there is some degree of safety for you who is just starting.
To help people make informed decisions, what are the benefits, and drawbacks of different saving options, such as fixed deposits or mutual funds?
I think one major drawback based on experience is inflation.
Okay.
When inflation rises to a certain level, sometimes when you get out what you've invested, you realize that you may not see a significant boost in the income. That is one aspect of it. So what we would also advise people, or my advice to anyone, is to invest in knowledge, get to understand and study and be abreast of the situations. I have a colleague who says that he would rather invest in shorter durations. So rather than taking a deposit for a fixed deposit or an investment for a year, he takes it on a monthly basis. It may be smaller, but it gives him that flexibility to immediately change course if he sees that things are going in a particular direction. The economic landscape can be pretty dynamic. It's not something that people can accurately predict